Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. Father's Day is coming up soon, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make two dishes for Father's Day. I'm going to start with this mushroom and goat cheese omelette and then move on to shrimp tacos, both of which have really simple and straightforward ingredients, but they all come together to taste really good. So let's get started. So these are all the ingredients we're going to be using to make the omelette. Here we have 2 eggs, and then for the filling we're going to be using half a cup of mushrooms, 1 tablespoon of goat cheese, and then for the garnish 1 beet, a little bit of cilantro, and some spring onion. The first thing you'll want to do is whisk the eggs together until they're smooth, but try to stop before too much foam starts to form. And also if you want some salt you can add that as well, but I'm not going to since the goat cheese already has enough salt. So now heat up 2 pans on a medium heat and add some oil to both of them. So I'm going to be using this rectangular pan for the omelette because I'm going to be rolling the omelette, so it'll be easier along a straight edge. But you can also use a circular pan as well. It's just that a rectangle works better. And then for the mushrooms, I'm going to be putting them in this circular pan. Once the pan starts warming up, go ahead and add all of the mushrooms and make sure that they're all in really small bite-sized pieces. We're just going to wait for these to shrink in size and then become moist and cook fully. At the same time, you can also spread the oil on the other pan for the egg and then slowly pour the egg in. As the egg starts cooking, you can start moving it around a little bit just to cook a bit more evenly, but make sure that in the end it still keeps that rectangular shape. You can reduce the egg to low heat now. And the mushrooms are done, so I'm going to turn that off. So with the way I'm cooking this egg, I'm not going to be flipping it because we're going to be rolling it, but we still want it to cook all the way through, obviously. So that's why we're putting it on low heat, so that way there's enough time for the residual heat to cook it all the way through. Otherwise the bottom might become burnt before the whole thing gets cooked. If you want, periodically you can just check the bottom to make sure it's not getting too brown. Okay, so that seems to have cooked all the way through, so I'm going to put it on the lowest heat possible. And you can see just by touching it on top, it feels solid. Now coming back here, I'm going to mix the fillings. So first up, the goat cheese goes in a separate bowl. And then on top of that, the mushrooms that we just cooked, and the residual heat of the mushrooms will also help to kind of melt the goat cheese a little bit and make it more creamy. So just go ahead and mix those really well. Once that's well mixed, we're going to put it on the egg, which is still in the pan. You should spread it out about 1 inch or 1.5 inches away from the edge of the omelette, and then from the sides probably about 1/2 inch. So now using the spatula, just push the whole thing up like this so that part of the egg is off of the side of the pan. You can do this on a circular pan as well, and then just roll the side over. It will be pretty hot, so be careful. So now with part of the egg still off, go ahead and put that on the plate and use the pan to help you and just roll that over. You just let it sit for a few seconds, eventually it'll settle down. And now that's on the plate, you can move it to the center. So now for garnishes, the first thing I'm going to do is put this cilantro leaf on top, just right across the top of the omelette. Then spread these spring onions all over the plate. And then with these beets, you can cut it into whatever shapes or letters you want. So I'm going to be showing you what I'll be doing. So first up, cut the beet into thin circular slices. So with this big one, I'm just going to be cutting it into a heart. And then with the other one, I'm making the word dad. And there we go, all set. So now moving on to the shrimp tacos, these are all the ingredients that we're going to need. We have 6 tablespoons of semolina, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, and 6 shrimp. And now the rest of the tacos are going to be made of 2 tortillas, 5 cherry tomatoes, some cilantro leaves, some lettuce, and 1/4 cup of corn. For these shrimp tacos, the first thing we need to do is cook the shrimp because that's going to take the longest amount of time. So I'm going to add the turmeric and chili powder to the 6 shrimp, as well as a little bit of salt. And now using your hands, just mix those really well. Keep in mind that the chili powder is quite spicy, so you can add more or less depending on how spicy you want it. Once you've coated the shrimp well, keep it to marinate for about 15 minutes. So the shrimp are currently marinating, and in the meantime I'm going to start heating up a pan on a medium-high heat with some oil in it. The pan is warming up now, so I'm going to take each shrimp and then coat them in the semolina. If you don't have semolina, you can also use breadcrumbs. Once each one is coated, come over to the pan and lay them around the sides. Repeat that with the remaining 5 shrimp. Once they're all in the pan, you can drizzle a little bit more oil on top. You can flip them every few minutes, and it'll probably take about 5 minutes on each side total to cook. After a few minutes, also reduce the heat so that it doesn't burn. So it's been about 10 minutes, and the shrimp are fully cooked now. So I'm going to turn the heat completely off. And now we can go assemble the rest of the taco. But first though, I'm going to make a sriracha and cashew aioli to put on top as a sauce. So I have a blender cup here, and the first thing that's going in is about half a cup of soaked cashews that were soaked in hot water for 5 minutes. Next up, a small clove of garlic, about 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and about a teaspoon of sriracha or any hot sauce you like. You can add more or less depending on how spicy you want it. I'm also adding a 1/4 cup of water. So I'm going to close this and blend it. If necessary, you can add more water and blend it again. I'm also going to toast these tortillas on a pan, so the pan is on high heat with no oil. I'm just going to lay this in the middle. And it's going to happen pretty fast, so make sure you watch it and then flip it. Also make sure to thinly slice the tomatoes. So now on to the final assembly. First, of course, we're just laying down both tortillas. First up, the shrimp that we made earlier. Since we made 6, I'm going to put 3 in each taco. Next, just a few lettuce leaves on top of each one, a spoonful of corn, a few cilantro leaves on top, and then last, I'm putting a little bit of the sriracha cashew aioli we made earlier. And then with the tomatoes, I'm just putting a few on the sides. And there we go, all set. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, like and comment on this video, and share with others who might find this interesting. And I'll see you next week. Bye.